Madhyoli Charanam, Jainandalala. Actually, I'm looking forward to today's topic. I love the topic today. I know I say that always, but it's true. Today's topic is Lord Vishnu's Vahanam, the beautiful, majestic, splendid Garuda, that majestic bird. In our Puranas, he's always depicted as this huge bird with wings that are miles, extending miles away. And you can just imagine how huge he is. So that is how huge he is. And of course, he has to be because he's carrying who? The Lord, right? Lord Vishnu himself. Let's get to know more about this beautiful bird, this beautiful Vahanam of Lord Vishnu. And how did he become the Vahanam? So all this in detail. Let's see from who his parents are and everything. Let's get to the roots like always we do. Now, his father is Rishi Kashyapa. Now, who is Kashyapa? Rishi Kashyapa is the son of Lord Brahma. Now, Garuda's mother is Vinata. And he has a brother who's named Aruna. Aruna is the charioteer of to the Lord Surya. So he's the charioteer for Lord Surya, Aruna. Now, Rishi Kashyapa is also one of the Sapta Rishis. So he was actually based in the northwestern part of our Indian subcontinent, region of Kashmir. So that's where the name Kashyapa comes from, Kashmir. So Mir is lake of the sage. Now, Kashmir was once, I believe, a very vast lake. There was no land. But Rishi Kashyapa was the one who transformed it into this beautiful meadows of greenery and flowers. So all that credit goes to this Rishi. So that's why Kashmir is so beautiful. So Kashmir was named after Kashyapa Rishi. Now, there is this, and also Kashyapa also means turtle in Sanskrit. So it also means turtle. Now, he is mentioned as various texts and Vedas and books, and he has written, he's very knowledgeable. So he has written books on Ayurveda, pediatrics, and gynecology. Imagine. So that's how he's a doctor. So even when you see Shiva Puranam, right? When you read Shiva Puranam, Kashyapa is the doctor, like in the family for Daksha Prajapati. Daksha used to call Kashyapa, Rishi Kashyapa for all the needs, health needs. He used to take his advice. So he is basically a doctor in various fields, like you see here, Ayurveda, pediatrics, and gynecology. Wow. Now, in Vishnu Puranam, Kashyapa marries 13 daughters of Daksha Prajapati. So he marries 13 of his daughters. And Katuru and Vinata were two of them, and we are going to know more about them. And there is a beautiful story from Amma's book, Fulfillment. This story is from her book that I'm going to recite today. And this is a story which will tell us how Garuda became the Vahana of Lord Vishnu. And it's beautifully Of course, Amma has beautifully written it with her own special touch. So Kashyapa was, because he married 13 daughters of Daksha, he's the father of the Devas, Asuras, Yakshas, and all living creatures with various daughters of Daksha Prajapati. Now, Katuru is the mother to all the snakes. Now, when we say snakes, even Adi Sesha is a snake, correct? So, yes, she was the mother to Adi Sesha and Vasuki and Karkodakan. And there are many snakes. These are like the main ones. I just wanted to mention their names so that you get an idea. So all the snakes, she was the mother to all the snakes. Now, Vinata was the mother of Garuda and Aruna. Now, Katuru and Vinata never got along. Katuru was always jealous of Vinata because Vinata was a person who was always happy, was always content. She never wanted anything more. She was very happy with what she had. But Katuru wanted more. And she was always jealous of Vinata because she was very happy in this world, and she just wanted that happiness. One day, they both were taking a bath in the river. That time they see this beautiful horse, and that was in Lord Indra's horse, Uchchaishravas. It's beautiful, white in color. It was flying in the sky. And both of them were admiring it. They were like, wow, look at that. It's so beautiful. Look at the horse, so white and so nice and all that. And then Katuru got this idea. She thought of an evil plot, She said to herself, I'm going to, do this evil plot, and I'm going to somehow convince Vinata that Uchchaishravas's tail is black. Now, the tail was not visible when they saw it that time. So now she came up with this new idea. So she said, Vinata, do you know Uchchaishravas's tail is black? Though it's so beautiful and white, the tail is black. So Vinata says, no. The whole horse is white. There is no black in the horse. So Katru said, no, I challenge you. How about we do a challenge? We'll do a bet. If you win, then I'll be your slave the whole life. But if I win, you become my slave. Vinata was very sure that Uchchaishravas's tail was white and not black. So she agreed to this bet. That was not a good thing, because what did Katru do? She went and spoke to her sons. And first she approached Adi Sesha. She approached Adi Sesha and she said, son, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to go and hang along with the tail of Uchchaishravas when he, flies over the river tomorrow, so that Vinata thinks it's black. Adi Sesha was like, no, I'm not going to be a part of this foolish thing that you're doing. I'm not going to be a part of this. I have other things to do. And he walked away. Now she approaches Karkodakan. Karkodakan, he agrees. Now, if you remember this name, Karkodakan, you remember when we were doing Nala and Damayanti? The same snake was the one that Nala rescued. And he bit Nala and deformed him. Remember? Just wanted to quickly remind you, it's the same snake. So Karkodakan agreed to do this evil plot with his mother. So he said, okay, I'll take care of it, mom. Don't worry. So Katru was very happy. Again, next day they went to the river and they were taking a bath when Uchchaishravas was visible. And then they both were looking to see whether the tail is white or black. And then there goes. The tail was black because obviously Garudan was hanging down the tail to make it look like the tail is black. Now, Vinata lost the bet. She was miserable. She knew she lost it. So obviously she knew she's going to be the slave to Katuru. And she was not very happy about it. But what to do? When you lose, you have to keep your word. So you have to be her slave. So she agreed and she was put in this jail kind of thing. And she had to do everything Katuru said. And Sage Kashyapa came to know about this and he was not happy. He went and spoke with Katuru and he said, what are you doing? That's your sister. You cannot treat your sister like that. But Katuru was not. Nothing stopped her. She continued. She said, this is my thing. We had a bet. She agreed to it. She lost. I won. Now I can't do anything. Now Garuda being there, he's seeing his mother being treated like this. He was not very happy. Every day he saw his mom being ill-treated. And even he was treated as a slave. And so was his brother. So he just did not like that. He wanted to put an end to this. So he went and approached Katuru and said, what can I do so that you leave my mom alone? So that you free her from this. What do I do? Now she's thinking, Garuda being a very strong, powerful bird, she needs to make use of him, right? And he's himself coming and asking, what do I do? I'll do anything. That's the best opportunity one can get, right? So she takes it. She says, all right, if you can get me the Amritam from the Devaloka and feed all my serpent sons the Amritam, I will free your mother. I will release Vinata for good. So Garuda was like, that's nothing for me. I can do it. I'll bring the Amritam for you. And I'll give it to all your sons. That's fine. Garuda was excited in a way. He was like on his way to get the Amritam. Now, as we know, Amritam is not very easy to get. That is why Katuru asked Garudan to get it. Because Amritam is, who's protecting it? All the Devas. And it is in Indraloka. And there are 2 poisonous snakes guarding it. So nobody can get hold of the Amritam. Nobody. But Garuda fought all the Devas. He's very powerful. He fought all the Devas. He killed the snakes and got the Amritam. So easily. He got the Amritam. He had it in his hand. Now he was on his way. Now, the beauty is he had the Amritam in his hand. But Garuda did not even take a small sip of it. Now, that is who he is. He's so sincere. He knew that Amritam is not for me. I gave a word to give it to them. Now, anybody else they have the Amritam in their hand. They will use it, right? He didn't even think about it. He was on a mission. He was so focused. He just was like, I have to save my mother. I have to get this to the party and get her released. That's it. That was in his mind, and so focused. Now, he's got the Amritam in his hand. He defeated all the Devas. Now all the Devas ran to Lord Vishnu. for help. That this, oh my God, this Garuda came and he defeated everybody and he's taken hold of the Amritam. He's going to go and give it to the snakes now. What are we going to do? Please save us. Lord Vishnu says, I got it. Now he goes and now Garuda has to face Lord Vishnu. He's faced all the devas now. He has to face Lord Vishnu. Now Lord Vishnu is standing in front of him. He says, Garuda, what are you doing? He says, I have to take this to Katuru. She needs it. I have to release my mother. So Lord Vishnu says, I understand, but giving Amritam to the snakes, is that okay in any way? You're giving it to the evil. Think about what will happen, the consequences. You should not be doing this. So Garuda, nothing mattered to her. It's like, I'm sorry, I have to do this. Either you move out of the way or I have to fight you, Garuda says. So Lord says, well then, if you don't give me a choice, then yeah, we'll have to fight each other. So then they fight. The fight goes on for 6 days. 6 to 21 days. Well, why was Garuda not defeated? Because of his sincerity. He was so sincere. All the causes. Why did he take the Amritam for his mother? For a good cause, to release her. There was no evil plot behind whatever he was doing. He was for the truth. And he used all his knowledge that he learned from his father. Rishi Kashyapa had taught him so much, in war and in all his weaponry and everything. He used all that against Lord Vishnu. Not that Lord Vishnu cannot defeat him, but all those goodness in Garuda helped him stay strong and fight the Lord himself successfully. But then this war between them, this fight between them was like extended for 21 days. And nobody's winning or losing. It seemed like, both of them were equally strong. Now, Garuda developed this ego without his own knowledge. He started thinking, I'm fighting the Lord. I'm fighting the Lord himself. And he's not able to defeat me. Am I so strong? Am I this powerful? So far, he was, his mind was calm and focused. But suddenly he developed an ego. And obviously Lord Vishnu can sense it. He stops fighting. He says, wait, Garuda, this has extended too long. Wait, I admire your sincere love for your mother. I understand that you're taking this Amritam to release her. But that being said, because you didn't even taste the Amritam, I really admire that also in you. I'll give you a boon. I'll give you anything you want if you give me that Amritam, he says. Now the Lord says, I'll give you a boon. I'll give you anything you want. If I were Garuda, I would have given the Amritam and said, what? Release my mother, right? Isn't that This isn't that what he was going to do, right? Isn't that what he wanted? And then you have the Lord himself standing and telling you, ask me anything you want. I'll give you a boon. Ask me whatever you want and give me the Amritam. What else do you want? No, but Garuda's ego had taken over, right? His ego had taken over him. Instead, he says, why are you giving me a boon? I'll give you a boon. Why should I take any boon from you? I want to give you a boon. He says, who? Garuda says, to the Lord. Now, it's a very great sin to talk back to the Lord like that, right? But the Lord is so merciful. He smiles. He laughs inside. Lord Vishnu, you can even picture him, that beautiful smile. He converted even Garuda's sinful act into a beautiful merit, a deed of merit. The Lord says, really? You'll give me a boon? You sure? You'll keep your promise? Not to go back on your words? The Lord said. Garuda said, I have the great honor of granting the Lord himself the boon. I will not let go of this opportunity. I promise this on my mother's life, Garuda said. Okay then, the Lord says. Okay then. I ask that you serve me by becoming my vehicle, my Vahana. This is the boon I ask you, he says. Wow. How beautiful, isn't it? It was like one tight slap on Garuda's face for that ego. Beautiful. It's like a boon he got. Right? Amazing. Garuda saw that. He felt it. He felt that big slap for his pride. He was so moved by the Lord's mercy on him. He was so moved. He regretted what he had done. He sobbed and he fell at his feet. He said, I'm so sorry. Tell me what I should do. So the Lord knows that Garuda, being such a sincere soul, he knows that if he gave a word, he has to keep it. And that is how Garuda is. So the Lord did not want him to fail on his words, because he had given a word to Kataru, right? That he will bring the Amrita. So the Lord allowed him to take it. He said, take it now. I'll take care of the rest, he says. You take the Amrita. I will take care of the rest, he says. So Garuda takes the Amritam to Kataru. Kataru is all excited. She's calling all her snake sons, come, come, come. They're all assembling there to get a hold of the Amritam. They're all sitting there together. And the Amritam is, the pot is right there on the grass. Adisesha is also there. And Lord Vishnu signals with his side eyes to Adisesha. He has this knack of signaling like this. Okay. And Adisesha with one little whack, his tail, he kind of tumbles that whole pot on the ground. The whole pot kind of tumbles and everything, all the nectar, amritam is on the ground. Flows out. Now all the snakes are all tensed, they go and lick. So the grass is darbai. So they all get cut. The tongue gets cut. All the snakes. That's why all the snakes have a fork-like tongue, All their tongues get cut in half because they go and lick the grass. And the grass is so sharp, it cuts their tongue. Now the Lord made sure that Garuda stuck to his word and he did his part. At the same time, the Lord made sure that the nectar did not go in the evil hands. So that is the beauty of the Lord, just to save mankind, right? From evil. So he did that also. So now Garuda got a blessing to be the Lord's Vahanam. What a blessing. Which the boon that the Lord himself asked just to destroy his pride. Now, there's a quote in Bhagavad Gita. It says, nobody who does good work will ever come to a bad end, either here or in the world to come. That is so, apt for this story, because though Garuda stole the Amritam and all that, it was for a good cause. And he did it in the right way. He did it fairly. He didn't even take a sip from it. So sincere. All that the Lord liked. And he stood by him. I want to talk about this Nachiyaar Kovil. It is in Kumbakonam in the Tiruvarur road. It was built by Kochankannan. Kochankannan is the same king who built our Lord Akilandeshwari temple, Tiruvanekkaval. So this is the same king who built this temple. He has built 70 Shiva temples and a few Vishnu temples. Now this is his first Vishnu temple that he built, the Nachiyaar Kovil. Now the deity here is Srinivasa and the Ambal is Manjula Valli Tayar, or Nachiyaar Tayar is what she's called. And more importance is given to the Ambal here, the Tayar here. Now the Lord and his consort both are in the same sannidhi in a Kalyana Kolam. They're dressed as in a wedding, as if it's their wedding. And she's placed in such a way, that is, Tayar is placed in such a way that when you enter, you see her first. And the Lord is little to the side. It's like he's saying, see my wife first. So he stands to the side. Now the story of this temple, why is the Tayar given importance here? The story goes like this. There's a sage named Medhavi. He lived in the Nachiyaar Kovil and prayed to Lord Vishnu every day that he gets a girl child, just like Mahalakshmi. Now, one fine day, he hears this child crying, under this Vanjula tree. And he goes in, he sees this beautiful girl child. She's beautiful. So he takes her and he just feels as if it's her own. And to his blessing, Mahalakshmi herself is born, was there, And the girl grew up and she was of a marriageable age. She grows up with him and in his Gurukulam, and she learns all the Vedas and Shastras, and she's very well educated because after all, it's the Rishi, right? So everything is given to her. Now she's attained the marriageable age. Now Lord Vishnu one day disguised himself as five different forms of himself. He comes as five forms and he arrives at the sage's ashram as guests. Okay. So he receives a warm welcome from the Gurukulam disciples. And Vanjulavalli is the one who cooks food and she serves all the five forms of Lord Vishnu. Now, after the meal, Vanjulavalli goes out to pour water, so that they can wash their hands. Now, one of the forms named Vasudeva, he holds her hand. When she's pouring water, he holds her hand. She cries for help. She's like, help, help. And Medhavi, sage, runs and comes to rescue his daughter. That's when he sees all the five forms. They become one. They all become one. And Lord Vishnu reveals himself. Sage Medhavi, prostrated, greets the Lord. He's so happy to see Lord Vishnu, Mahavishnu himself in front of him. And the Lord asks for his daughter's hand in marriage. Sage Medhavi agrees, but he's a very smart sage. He asks for three boons, three conditions, three boons, whatever you may call it. So the first one was, all living beings at this place that gave the Lord his wife, where she's grown up. He came here to fetch her, isn't it? So he's saying, all the living beings that are in this place that gave you your wife and the food that you ate here. That being said, all the living beings here should attain eternal salvation. So the Lord says, sure, okay. Second one, he says, I want eternal salvation. The Lord says, okay. Then he asks, his daughter, my daughter, should always be given prominence in this temple from now on. Lord Vishnu says, that also, okay. So the three boons are done. Three conditions, the Lord easily okayed it. Now this temple since then has been called as Nachiyaar Kovil because of the word that Lord Vishnu had given, that Tayar is given more prominence here over the Lord. So she is like the star of the place, of the show here. Now, Vishnu's Pancha, that is five forms that he came in, right? Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Purushottama, and Vasudeva. All are found in one sanctum. Now here, the Garuda is given a lot of importance. Kal Garudan, the Vahanam, is made of stone and is outside Perumal's Sannidhi. He is holding 9 snakes. I'll come to that later. Now the story goes like this. A sculptor who was actually chiseling the Garuda in this temple. He's making this Garuda in this temple. Suddenly found, as soon as he finished the wings, right? The Garudan just started to fly. It just took off. And he was so shocked that it was just a sculpture, right? He was so shocked, he just went back and he hit it with a stone. Immediate reflex. And then it came down and it settled. So that's how they know that this Garuda is not an ordinary one. It just came to life the minute he finished the whole sculpture. Think about it. So he is here forever, blessing his devotees ever since then. Now, during the Kal Garuda Utsavam, Garuda, this is astonishing, okay? This incident that I'm going to tell you now. During this Utsavam, every time there's a Utsavam that happens, and they have to take this Garudan out of the sanctum. Now, the way this happens is he makes his way out of the sanctum at 7 p.m. and only 4 people carry him out of his sanctum. As he advances further out of each layer and prakaram, his weight increases. It increases manifold and demanding 8 people and then 16 people and then 32, 64, and then lastly 128 people carry him out into outside the temple entrance. And this is how his weight increases as he makes his way out of the temple. Think about it. And this is not, I'm not making this up. This is true. This is very true. And it's incredible. And the same thing, when he returns, the people, get decreased because the weight gets decreased. So ultimately, in the end, 4 people take him inside the Sannidhi and put him there. Incredible how the weight is increased and decreased. It's ultimate. There's no explanations for this. Another unique feature is that he'll be seen sweating profusely as he makes his way out of the procession. That also is something that every time the devotees notice. Now the Lord sits on the Garuda for the procession and Tayar sits on a swan. We all know that Garuda is faster than a swan. Correct? But here in this temple, because his weight increases, it is made that way because otherwise the people will carry it so easily. And because the weight increases, people are not able to carry it easily. So they slow down and the swan moves faster. The swan is carried so easily. So Tayar is leading and Perumal is behind Tayar. So this is again because of the boon that he agreed to. He gave the sage that his daughter will be the star and she will be holding the prominence, and she is. The Lord made sure by increasing the weight of his Vahanam that even by mistake, people cannot take him in front. Amazing. Now the temple has 5 tiers, Raja Gopuram, which is 75 feet high, constructed in the Dravidian style. And King Kochangannan is a Chola king. He's a staunch Shiva Bhakta, which we know. And he has built 70 temples of Lord Shiva. And now he wanted, after he built 70 temples of Lord Shiva, he wanted to have a darshan of Lord Vishnu. So he kept thinking of Lord Vishnu. How will Perumal be? How will Perumal be? Then Vishnu grants a darshan. He comes in his dream and he orders him to build a temple. And this was the first temple he built on the Lord's demand, on the Lord's guidance. Now there is a shrine with all the 11 alvars. Alvars are bhaktas of Lord Narayana. Just like Nayanmars are bhaktas of Lord Shiva, alvars are bhaktas of Lord Narayana. Now this is a place where the Lord initiated Pancha Samskara to Tirumangai Alvar, one of the greatest devotee of Lord Narayana. Now the Tayar is given prominence in the Sannidhi. Like I said, as soon as you enter, you see Tayar first. Then you will see the Lord. He's standing at the side. It's like giving his wife all the attention, Yeah, first her, then me. Tayar leads the procession during any utsava. We saw that also. Tayar is offered Nevedyam first before Perumal. Even the food is offered to her first. It is believed that when Tayar was living in the Gurukulam, as Vanjulavalli, Garuda spotted her first. Garuda is the one who spotted her and came and told Lord Vishnu about this message about Tayar living there. That is after which Lord Vishnu came disguised as those 5 forms to, have food, and we saw what happened. As a mark of gratitude, Lord Vishnu has blessed Garuda to receive equal status in this temple. That is why in this temple, the Kal Garuda is given so much importance in the Utsavam for him, and he is also treated equally as a deity. No other temple is like that. Here, the Kal Garuda is very, very powerful because the Lord gave him that boon. It's like a gratitude for him. He gave him that status here. So the Murti of Kal Garuda is made of Saligram. Now, lot of devotees flood this temple to get a darshan of Kal Garudan. Kal Garudan answers all the wishes of his devotees here. When they pray to him, and they say that praying to him for 9 consecutive Thursdays. Thursdays are very auspicious for Garudan. So they say 9 consecutive Thursdays, if you pray to Garuda, he removes Naga doshams and blesses childless couples with children and removes obstacles in marriages. Because some people, they have all these issues, right? So they do that 9 consecutive prayers, days, Thursdays, for Garudan. And they say that they get their wishes. And he has several names. Rakta Paksha, that means blood-winged. And Ganeshwara, Lord of the Sky. And then Suvarnakaya, golden-bodied. And Kageshwara, King of Birds. And Vajrajit is conqueror of Thunderbolt. And these are the names that he goes by. And he's actually known as the senior servant of the Lord. Whereas who's the junior servant? Hanuman. So this is how they name them. They've given them these names. Now he stands for wisdom, thoughts, and incredible speed. Positive thoughts and incredible speed. He can soar to the sky like a comet. Think about it. You can hear the Vedas chanting as he flaps his wings. Think about it. That's like, just visualize that. And when he flaps his wings, there's a tremor in the mountains. The waves are all gushing here and there. That's the effect of Garuda. Now, Garuda Panchami celebrates the love he had for his mother and his dedication for her. So it's celebrated during the Shravana Masam that usually comes in July, August. And in the south, it's called as Naga Panchami. Now, usually this day, mothers pray for the well-being of their children, especially in this festival. Now here, like I remember I said, Garuda, here Kal Garudan holds 9 snakes in his hands. Now there's a story behind this. A darshan of him with those 9 snakes will clear us all of doshas. And now why is he holding the 9 snakes? One time, these 9 snakes were creating a lot of havoc and problems for all the devas. They were so venomous that their venom was spreading and all the devas were coughing and they couldn't breathe and they ran to Lord Narayana for help. Now, Lord Narayana somehow equipped Lord Indra and he sent a few devas to defeat the Nagas, but the 9 snakes, but they could not. They were defeated and they came back. And as this was going on, Garuda was right there sitting beside the Lord and thinking, why isn't the Lord sending me? I think I can achieve this very easily. Why isn't the Lord sending me? So it's not, again, shows his patience. He's not like, I can do this, and get up and tell the Lord, right? For everything, the Lord's permission, the Lord's blessing is needed. So he waits in patience. And after Lord Indra and all come defeated, then Lord says, he looks at Garudan and he says, I think you should go. Go and see what's happening and set it right for me. And Garudan is like so happy. He's like, okay. Now he flaps his huge, gigantic wings and he goes there and he doesn't do much. His wings does it. The wings are so powerful that it's like a hurricane and tornado for the snakes. He didn't do much. They were like, oh my God, what was that? And they're just standing like a statue, like frozen state. And he picks them all like that with his hands. So easy. And he brings them. Now, those are the 9 snakes that he's wearing. Kal Garudan has those 9 snakes as his abharanam. What is abharanam? Ornaments. So 9 of them. One in his crown, the ears have snakes, shoulders have snakes, chest has snakes, waist, he's tied a snake. So like this, he's got all the 9 snakes in his body as ornaments. He's wearing them so proudly. It's his jewelry now. So it reminds, he reminds you how powerful he is. And especially a devotee goes with all the Naga dosha, and sees this. He's immediately relieved. That is what they say. All the dosham is relieved. And when I speak about the snake being an abharanam, I cannot help but think of my beautiful Appa to Lord Shiva, right? How beautifully he wears that snake around his neck. Oh my God, I can't help it. I'm sorry. I have to speak about him. Well, so Navagraha doshas also are gone when you see this beautiful darshan of Garudan. So this is our Garuda episode. And another thing is, interesting fact is Thailand and Indonesia use Garuda as their national emblem. Garuda, not eagle, but Garuda. Now, Thailand is depicted with a torso of a man with the wings, beak of an eagle, all red and gold. This is how he's depicted in Thailand. In Indonesia, he is a golden bird resembling an eagle. and it's called a Garuda. I'm so proud. I have no words. I'm so proud when I see that. And then, of course, people wear Garuda as ornaments, like armlets and amulets with the Garuda in it, so that they can ward off snakes and snake bites. And snakes don't mess with Garuda. We know that now, right? Snakes will not mess with Garuda. They respect him and they stay away. So people have that faith and they wear it around their hands if they're scared of snakes. And if they're especially in the villages, when you know that you'll encounter snakes, they usually really, really have faith in this and they do it. And of course, Garuda does. Always faith is powerful, right? We've seen that. With faith, you can move mountains. So that being said, yeah, this is, I really enjoyed speaking about Garuda today. I have one incident that I want to share with Amma. An incident when I went to India in 2019 and I came back and I had a lot of things lined up to do. As soon as I came back, I had Sankara Chaturthi and it was non-stop work. No time for my jet lag or anything, So I came back and I did the Sankara Chaturthi, and then it was summertime. Summer was ending. So it was like August end, and I had to do the backpack drive. And Siva Ganesh said, take it easy this time because obviously we don't have time. But then something said, no, every summer we do the backpack drive. That is, we supply 50 backpacks to underprivileged kids in the New Jersey area. At that time, Shiv said, take it easy this time, but then I wanted to get it done. I know Amma would want that, So I somehow took it, and of course, a lot of volunteers helped buy stuffs, and I also had my section of things I had to do and to buy and everything. I went to the store, got it, we packed. We had a day for packing. We did it. And next day I went and dropped off all the 50 bags at the shelter. Came back home. And after that was, I remember Ganesha Chaturthi. And we have Sankara Vimochana Ganapati in our house. I have to celebrate it grandly. So I somehow finished that also, made Korkate Appam, everything for him. And we had the Nandalala darshan for him. We had to open the doors for everybody so they could come and have darshan of him. That being said, that all done and all that was done. After that day, Ganesha Chaturthi day, I came and sat in my couch. I was like, that sign. Okay, now I can rest a bit because all that was done. Now I can really rest. That kind of sign. I just had that thing and I was like, okay, Amma, I feel relieved now that I finished everything. And I can take a deep breath, sign of relief. That night, I got this dream. This is such a beautiful, adorable dream. The scene is like this, me and Dev are playing on the floor, on the ground. Like we were sitting on the floor in a house. And Amma, Shree Amma is sitting in a chair across us. And I look at her and she's looking at us and she's enjoying me and Dev playing. And then I look at her and she smiles. She's got this beautiful smile and she puts her hand out like this, like, come, like this to me. I thought she was calling Dev. And then I look at her and she's like, Neva, you come here. Like she's calling a small child. She called me. And I went to her. And then she said, Kiva. And she put me in her lap. She made me sit in her lap. And I was like, Yo, amma, ungalku valikkume. You may be hurt. She said, Adella illa. Nothing like that. Just sit. It may hurt you. I said, if I sit. She said, nothing like that. You just sit. She made me sit on her lap. And then she's holding me and she carries me and she puts me in her kind of a sofa come bed kind of a place, It's like a recliner kind of a thing. And she puts me there and she covers me with blankets. Yes, I am a person who feels very cold. She covers me with a lot of blankets. And then she sits beside my leg and she massages my feet. She's massaging my feet. Can you just think about that? Just picture that. That is, even now when I think about it, I have tears in my eyes. Ambal touching my feet. And then she says, you're very, very tired. You sleep. You sleep now. And I close my eyes and I know somebody comes inside the room and they see this scene, right? They're asking, oh no, what happened to Madhuri? That's the first thing they ask. And Amma's like, shh, don't make noise. Madhuri needs to rest. She has no rest. She needs to sleep. Don't make noise. Go now. So she's telling that person to leave. And she's continuing massaging my feet. And I wake up in the morning. I'm sobbing. I'm literally sobbing in the morning. And Siva Ganesh was like, what happened? My husband is like, what happened? I was like, Ambal touched my feet. Why did she touch my feet? I'm supposed to touch her feet. And I was sobbing and sobbing, just repeating this over and over again. I have no words. The bhakti is like, the Lord becomes, it's a different relationship with bhakti. It's the other way, it gets reversed. It says, right, in the scriptures, the Lord himself has said, I become your bhakta. He's telling his devotee. And obviously here, it was, you can call it a bhakta, whatever, I don't know. But I was in tears. I was sobbing. And I could not take the fact that she touched my feet. I have to do that for her. I should be massaging her feet. And she was massaging my feet. So much care, so much love. And yes, I was exhausted. Yes, I was. Madhyoli Charanam Jai Nandalala.